Okay.
All right,
First.
same as the first. Any comments from the audience? If you have a comment, please come up to the village lectern and give us your name and address and where we can find you at 2 a.m. Okay, well, we thank everyone for attending. No old business tonight, so we'll move to new business, and first up will be ordinance 2014-1400, which will be presented by trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. This is an ordinance accepting a perpetual water main easement from Greg Gebhards Incorporated, an Illinois corporation, to provide a water main extension as set out on the plat attached to this paper here, and made a part, this ordinance, all in the village of Peoria Heights, Illinois. What it does, it gives us a 15-foot wide easement to go from Illinois across the back of Schooner's Gebby's parking lot, which Greg Gebhards owns, over to the new development that's going on behind the La Gondola. So we're happy to have that, and that's done, so they'll have water. And it'll be good for Gebby's also, because as it is right now, that water main dead ends. And so if there's a break, then you have to shut those businesses off. But if the water main continues and does a loop, for one thing, it stays cleaner because you don't have dirt building up as you do in a dead-end main. And two, he would be able to backfeed water to his businesses still. So that's all for that one. I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2014-1400.
Okay, we have a motion from trustee Harn,
Second.
second from trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2014-1400 regarding the water main easement from Gregory Gebhards Incorporated, as outlined by trustee Harn. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2014-1400 as presented by trustee Harn. Next order of new business tonight is the ordinance 2014-1401, and this will be presented by trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Okay, this is an ordinance prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation or use of potable water supply wells or by another method. Basically, it's the area from the corner of Prospect and War Memorial over to Atlantic and down to East London. It's that corner where Walgreens and Proctor First Care and the residences behind it. We're going to pass an ordinance so no one can drill a well in that area to use as drinkable water. So I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2014-1401.
Have a motion from trustee Harn,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
I have a question.
Okay.
This penalty is blank. Do we fill that in later, or what's the penalty?
Really, no one's gonna drill a well anyway, so I don't think it's even necessary to put a penalty in. I mean,
Why do we have it done that?
it's just sort of a cookie cutter legal form, and it was just on there. It'd be as close as I can tell.
It'll give us an option in the future if it,
Should
Is
someone
ever
want to
needed.
drill a well,
Yeah.
but there's city water mains all over the place, so there's no real advantage to drilling a well. The only thing someone might want to do is maybe do geothermal, but that's even doubtful.
yeah.
So we're just leaving that violation blank.
You could put any number you want on it, put $100,000 on it if you want. I don't think it'll matter.
It's a nice even number. I kind of like that.
There we go. Let's that's good. Yeah,
Talk about it
let's go.
departmental and see if we want to go 100,000 on it.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2014-1401, as read by trustee Harn. Madam Clerk, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
So before I sign and attest to it, are we saying the fine is 0? Should I draw a line through it?
I just put the 100,000. Seriously. I mean, make them come to us. You know, if someone wants to drill
Seriously,
a well.
we shouldn't do that.
No
No,
one's
I
gonna drill a
think
well.
We
that
shouldn't do
seems a
that
little
just for.
arbitrary.
pick a number, right?
I would say $100 maybe, or, I mean,
No one-
if you wanted to research before you do that, we could probably meet one of our minimum fines, which I think are $50, probably aren't that cheap. That's our minimum, and up to $750 per day. Those are for ordinance violations. This is kind of something that doesn't really fall into that category, but if you wanted to make it something a little more substantial to prohibit them from doing it, if the penalty's $100, you're right, they might not be enough to really prohibit them from doing it.
The reason that they don't want wells drilled there in the first place is because there's a possibility, since it's always been industrial, and you've got gas stations across the street, which potentially have leaked gasoline under the street over to that property. If you poke a hole in there with a well, then you could potentially contaminate the groundwater with whatever pollutants are in the ground. So, I mean, it's a little more serious than a jaywalking or something. I mean,
Right.
you know, I mean, I'm just using that as an arbitrary number, but still, I don't know, put $1,000 or something on there, and
I think 1,000 sounds good. I mean,
no one's gonna drill a well anyway. I mean, I can't see why you'd want
Would they
to.
not have a permit to drill a well?
We
Well,
wouldn't give them a permit with this ordinance in place. They wouldn't be allowed to do it.
I think there's an EPA permit to drill a well anywhere for any reason.
To do it legally. Right. Yeah.
Someone would notice a well drilling rig setting up. They're pretty.
Well, I would hope.
Does anyone want to make a motion to put $1,000 in for the blank fine? Have a motion from trustee Gett,
second.
second from trustee Carter. Any questions or comments about putting $1,000 in for the fine? Okay, once again, this is for board approval to put $1,000 in the fine column for ordinance 2014-1401. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller? Aye. Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Personally, I think we gotta make it, what was that, 1.1?
100,000.
1.1 something million, we were gonna charge the one company.
Well, for Illinois American to go up and down the trail.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of
Thank
6-0, the board has approved putting $1,000 as our fine charge under Section 2 penalties. So knowing that that change has been made, I ask again for, we got a motion from trustee Harn regarding approving ordinance 2014-1401. Again, trustee Harn, with that $1,000? Okay, motion from trustee Harn.
Second?
Second from trustee Carter. Any questions or comments regarding ordinance 2014-1401? Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller? Aye. Trustee Reichert? Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2014-1401 as outlined by trustee Harn, with the addition of the $1,000 penalty for anyone not following the rules. Brings us now to ordinance 2014-1402, and this will be presented by trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance regulating the use of the corner of Prospect and Cyberling for solicitation by not-for-profit organizations and providing a penalty for violation. So what basically we're saying is that we would allow not-for-profit organizations to solicit vehicles that stop at the corner of Prospect and Cyberling for funds for their organization. And there are limitations and safety equipment, and everything is spelled out for anybody who would like a copy of this ordinance. So I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2014-1402.
I have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Fuller. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2014-1402, which will allow the return of the, I think we mostly think in terms of, the fire department boots down there for MDA and stuff like that, but there are a number of, like, as trustee Riker pointed out, there's a bevy of things that will have to be followed in order to do this, but it'll be nice to kind of amp up the charitable donations because it's such a good corner. Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the Ordinance 2014-1402 is outlined by trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cummings?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2014-1402, as outlined by trustee Reichert. Our next order of new business has it as being presented by trustee Harn, but I think it's to be presented by trustee Gett. It's fire department vehicle, so
Hey, it doesn't matter.
were you all
I'll present
prepped
it
for that? I didn't know if there was a mistake in,
I'm ready.
okay. This is for approval to purchase a four-wheel drive for the fire department. That will be presented by trustee Gett.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The fire department, their command vehicle has seen better days. There's not enough baling wire and duct tape to make that thing run, so they need to replace it. And they have a 2014 Ford. I thought it was bigger than an F-150, Chief.
$250.
F-250 4x4. They're going to take the equipment off of the command car and move it to the truck, so that'll save on the cost. Before I make a motion, does anybody have any questions that the chief's here, if you want to grill him?
No.
Nope. Okay, so at this time, I make the motion to approve $36,402.40 for the fire department to buy the 2014 Ford F-250 4x4.
Have a motion from trustee Gett,
Second.
second from trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the purchase of the four-wheel drive truck for the fire department as outlined by trustee Gett in the amount of $36,402.40. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Sorry. Trustee Carter?
It's the dry ice.
It is.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cummings?
You know, if we would have voted on this 2 weeks ago, I was prepared to vote no on it just because of all the overtime that we've had with, thanks to Mother Nature and the water main breaks. And I know we're playing things close to the vest, but, you know, Chief and I talked about it and with, you know, the current command vehicle being on last legs. And I know you guys have done a great job of keeping that thing on the road over the last couple of years. And we need to replace it, and we're not going to get a better price than what we've got right here. So, yeah, I'm voting yay on this.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the purchase of the four-wheel drive truck for the fire department as outlined by trustee Gett. So our next order of new business tonight is the final 2013 MFT resolution. That will be presented by trustee Harn.
Thank you, Marilyn. I make a motion, we approve paying from our day labor MFT funds a total of $791.05, and that will close out the year from January 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2013. And that's the end of the MFT for last year.
Okay, have a motion from trustee Harn,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for the board approval of the final 2013 MFT resolution in the amount of $791.05 as outlined by trustee Harn. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cummings?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the final payment, MFT payment in the amount of $791.05 as read by trustee Harn. Next order of new business tonight has to do with the approval of the use of Tower Park for the Peoria Heights Congregational Church Concert. That will be presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to let the Peoria Heights Congregational Church use Tower Park Saturday, August 23rd for their Christian artist concert, which draws a pretty good crowd every year, so.
Okay. Have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Harn. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the use of Tower Park by the Peoria Heights Congregational Church on Saturday, August 23rd, 2014, for their annual concert, as outlined by trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the use of Tower Park by the Peoria Heights Congregational Church for their annual concert on Saturday, August 23rd of this year. Next order of business, new business tonight is the approval of the use of Tower Park for Advocates of Access, and that will be presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. I'd also like to make a motion for the Advocates for Access, geez, that's a mouthful, to use the Tower Park April 26, 2014, from noon to 2, with a backup date of May 3rd.
Okay, have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the use of Tower Park on April 26, 2014, from noon to 2 p.m., as outlined by trustee Carter, with a backup date on May 3rd. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the use of Tower Park by Advocates for Access on Saturday, April 26th. Next up, Treasurer's Report, to be read by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
All right, this represents the bank balances for the month of January 2014, as submitted by our village treasurer, Cliff Brumbaugh. In the general fund account is $487,862.54. Motor fuel account is $172,052.34. Police drug savings account is $553.19. Tax increment finance account is $20,571.50. And the healthcare flex account is $3,681.29, for a grand total in the village accounts of $684,720.86. The waterworks account is $651,285.21. The service deposit account is $85,296.86, for a grand total in the waterworks accounts of $736,582.07.
All right, no, you did great. Any questions or comments regarding the treasurer's report as read? All right, then we will accept it from our treasurer, and want to remind everybody the next departmental committee meeting will be held Tuesday, February 25th at 6:30 p.m. The next Board of Trustees meeting will be held Tuesday, March 4th at 6:30 p.m. And at this time, we're going to be asking the board to go into executive session regarding personnel. You're welcome to stay through that, but the only thing we'll be doing afterwards is an adjournment. So at this time, I need a motion for the board to go into executive session regarding personnel.
I move that we go into executive session.
I have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Carter. All those in favor of the board going into executive session at this time regarding personnel, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, please say no. Thank you, the ayes have it. Not with a whole lot of conviction, but the ayes do have it. So we will come back for a adjournment afterwards, but we do want to thank everyone for attending.